What's up? It's your boy Turt back at it with another video. Today it's another tier list, it be that way. I love the tier list videos, and we're going over how useful each gadget slash specialization in the finals would be. I was originally going to do this over World War II, but I'm going to do it over World War I style combat. Because that means, trench warfare. That means big emphasis on tanks. And yeah, just in general, I know a lot more about World War I combat than I do World War II. So starting off with anti-grav cube. Anti-grav cube is a weird one because, I mean, you throw it at somebody and they start floating a little bit. There's no cash box or objective to stall. Now, I can't imagine this being too useful in the trench warfare itself. What I can imagine this being useful for, though, is in a niche case use, you could throw it underneath a tank that's approaching, and assuming that it's strong enough, it could lift the tank off the ground, and then you could shoot the grav cube, and then it drops the tank, and it like breaks in half. Very niche, but could be useful tier that I made just now. Next off, we've got the APS turret. Now this one is good, because what does trench warfare have? It's got grenades being thrown into trenches. It's got people peeking corners, peeking over the trenches to shoot each other. And you gotta, like, grenades were a huge deal. And having this, which stops all grenades, all RPGs within a radius, is huge. This is revolutionary invention, some would say. Next up, we got the barricade. This is literally just like a sheet of metal. I don't know what you're using a sheet of metal for, other than to like increase your little heights in the trench warfare, or to like give yourself some space, but that's not gonna cut it. Even if it is bulletproof like it is in the games, that's not gonna cut it. That ain't doing shit. I would almost put it in completely impractical, but they did probably use barricades in air quotes at somewhat in trench warfare. So it's like, like it's a barricade. Ignore my furry friend here. Yeah, so that's going and already existed. Next up, we've got the breach charge. So this is literally just a deployable explosive. Let's just go ahead and get C4 in here as well. These technically, you know what? Hold on, I'm gonna do some quick research.
Wait.
Okay, big update here. According to ChatGPT, I was wrong. C4 did not exist during World War I, and now I feel like a dumbass. So there were no remote detonated or hand deployable explosives like we see in modern warfare. So the explosives they had were unstable and dangerous to use, and existed as artillery shells, grenades, landmines, demolition charges. We'll get over those later. They didn't have C4. Let's ask another question. According to ChatGPT, we're already bringing out ChatGPT for this video. It would have been a game changer for engineering and demolition tasks, but it likely wouldn't have shifted the strategic balance of the war. Okay, so C4 basically, it would be just a more advanced version of explosives they had, and a better version of like grenades and stuff to clear out trenches. I would say could be a staple in combat, with the breach charges and C4. Maybe at the very top of niche, but could be useful, but not quite. So yeah, no, according to ChatGPT, shout out, could be a staple, but not quite revolutionary, because they're not that different. Next up, we've got the breach charge. So this is basically like a C4 strapped to a flashbang at the same time. So let's go ahead and rate flashbang. Flashbang is interesting because, hold on. So flashbangs, I just kind of remembered this all of a sudden from my history lessons, but yeah, flashbangs also didn't exist in World War I. So this is these two are kind of original. Flashbangs didn't exist. I feel like flashbangs wouldn't have been that useful for a war. So these are more useful for keeping someone alive in hostage situations, as not to just murder everyone. But again, you could just throw a grenade and kill people in World War II, and that was kind of the goal. So pretty much completely impractical. There would be no purpose for flashbangs in World War I. As far as the breach charge goes, it is at least an explosive. But at the same time, why are you setting up this big ass machine to just do an explosive when you could use explosives that they literally already had? It's going in impractical as well. I'm sorry. Breach charge is just garbage in World War One as it is in the finals. Next up, we've got our real kicker here. Data reshaper. So this can literally change objects into completely different objects. So imagine you're just out there with a data reshaper and somebody like throws a grenade at you and you just change it into like a teddy bear. Can you imagine? Or like better yet, if it could work on a bigger scale, like like a tank's rolling by you, can you imagine? And you just change the tank into like a centipede. The only problem is that you might have to get really like you have to get close with the data reshape. You can't do it from a distance. That could actually bring it down a tier to yeah, that brings it down a tier. And now I'm thinking about it, because you have to be close. You don't want to really get too close to a tank, you know, but it almost serves the same purpose that this does, to protect from explosives and stuff like that, because you can just data reshape it if it's being thrown in your trench, or if you're like hunting for somebody and then they start, you know, firing at you, you can reshape some shit. But yeah. All right, so we got defib next. This is an interesting one. So defib instantly revives dead teammates with half their health. So this is an interesting prospect. So let's say your homeboy Timmy, right? He gets just absolutely fragged, you know, he gets mag dumped per se, and you use the defibs on him, right? And he comes back. Does that mean like half of his body is there? Or does it mean he's fully alive but on like half health per se? You know, like, does that just mean he's still got a bunch of bullet holes in him and is gonna bleed out? Like, I'm just not sure what being half health really means. I guess it means you're still injured, so he wouldn't be like fully combat ready, but it would like revive dead people. I feel like there's no questions asked about reviving dead people. I feel like that kind of wins the war for you. I don't know. I might, this might be a Geneva Convention violation. Hold on. It could violate the Geneva Conventions. Oh no. Okay. Okay, hold on. The first Geneva Convention protects the dead. It says require parties to collect, respect and bury the dead. Reanimating the dead for combat purposes could be seen as what the fuck does that even mean? Disrespect, violating human dignity. Okay. Prohibited methods of warfare. Oh my god, this is bad. Zombie-like soldiers or forced revival may fall under inhumane treatment or biological experimentation. Violation of bioethics. Guys, it's not looking good. Using witchcraft or the supernatural. Chemical, yeah, okay, something's telling me, I'm not gonna lie, guys. It's teetering on the edge of violating Geneva Conventions. I'm not gonna lie, but I'd say if he's like fresh off getting no scoped, you could revive him with little issues. But if like you're digging up people that are been buried, so it's teetering on the edge of a Geneva Convention, but it's gonna stay in a great gonna stay in S tier for now. Let's do zipline. This is I don't want to do this one as the last one because it's boring. Let's be real. Ziplines have existed. They just were they're impractical. They're both of these. They already existed, and there's no reason to use a zip line. It's not a fucking playground. So yeah, the zip lines are not practical at all. Dome shield. Now this one is interesting. Dome shield. This is a revolutionary invention. I'd say all the way at the top. This thing is insane. Imagine you're like rushing some like trenches or like rushing an enemy camp, and you throw that thing down. Dude, they fire at you, and they're so confused. They can't hit shit. Man, this thing's broken. Like, this is like Reinhardt's shield. I mean, even mesh shield. Let's do mesh shield at the same time, because it's literally the same thing. Where's mesh shield? Right here. So, yeah, it literally stops bullets. I don't know what more to say. Obviously, it can't stop an infinite amount of bullets, but the fact that it can, like, just completely protect you from bullets, it's like a deployable Kevlar vest that you can shoot through. It's absolutely a revolutionary invention. Okay, the next few are stuff that pretty much already existed. Explosive mines. Yeah, they're called landmines. They existed. They were used to blow up tanks. They were used to make areas unsafe for troops to walk through, just basically wall off areas. They already existed, and they were super useful and a big staple, but obviously, already existed. Yeah, so they're going here. Grenades. It's literally just a grenade. Obviously, grenades didn't look like this in the war. They were more like an oval shape, but again, already existed, and they were a staple. Next up, I believe this is the gas grenade. Yeah, the Germans would have loved this one. Violates the Geneva Convention. I'm just gonna like, it's to the point where yeah, no, like all of these violate the Geneva Convention. This was kind of the reason the Geneva Convention was created, was a little something involving that toxic gas, absolutely banned. If the gas grenade contains toxic, lethal, incapacitating chemicals, it's a clear violation of the Geneva Convention. And I feel like, when you can literally instantly die by like inhaling the gas in the game, it's pretty clear that these are a violation of the Geneva Convention. I'm gonna be so honest. So yeah, that's pretty clear that these two are up there. Next up, we got Gateway. Okay, Gateway is a cool one. This is a very futuristic one that like completely nothing like it has ever been seen in real life. So this is a teleportation device. If we really took it so literally, where it like dematerializes and rematerializes you at where you like are placed, if we go by some weird teleportation laws from some TV show or movie or book, then it's like, oh yeah, it violates the Geneva Conventions because it's like messing up your human anatomy or whatever. But fuck that. This is a revolutionary invention. A matter of fact, this is up there. I'd say next to defibs with single-handedly would win the war. Being able to set up a gateway up to 75 meters to just teleport all of your troops somewhere else as a safety evacuation measure or as an attack measure. Can you imagine? They would be so caught off guard, and the only warning they have is seeing this little black mystic box appear above their forehead. No, they're cooked. Gateway is going to absolutely decimate the troops. Not gonna lie. Next up, we've got Glitch Grenade. Okay, so what Glitch Grenade does in the game is it disables any kind of use of secondary abilities other than firing your gun, and it also disables technology. Okay, so if you throw a Glitch Grenade at somebody, they're not going to be able to use any secondary abilities. So what does that mean for warfare? They're not going to be able to throw grenades at you. They're not going to be able to, if we are including this now, they're not going to be able to deploy dome shields anymore. This could be a great countermeasure to whoever developed this technology. But we're not going into that. Each one is a standalone. So yeah, they're not going to be able to throw grenades anymore. They're not going to be able to deploy explosives. They're not going to be able to really protect themselves at all. They're just going to be able to run, and they're going to be able to use their gun, which is, let's be honest, the main thing they're going to be doing. So if that was all that these were capable of, it would be down here and then practical. But they disable all kinds of, machinery. Any tank, that was a big deal. It also disables all landmines. So if you need to cross a landmine field, to do that because of the glitch. So being able to throw one of these at a tank and it just completely stops working for a couple seconds, and it gives you time to like, rush it, place maybe some C4 on it, maybe get a gateway above it and then drop on it with some, some breach charges. You know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, that combination could be great. You drop on from a gateway onto a tank with a breach charge, blind the guy inside, and then blow him up. Like that would be pretty sick. That would be a huge clip. Like if I went back in time to World War I and like could bring these with me, I would be absolutely like clip farming. It's almost niche, but it's not quite. It has a possibility to be a staple in combat because of its ability to disable tanks and shit like that. Next up, we've got the Glitch Trap. Okay, so this one I feel would be a lot more useful than Glitch Grenade actually, because you could place them where tanks or even just normal people were going to be, and they were, rolling on into your space, and it completely disables them until they can find the tiny little glitch traps. So this is actually, I think, top of staple in combat because it literally just completely disables the ability of tanks to push you, unless they have somebody, clearing the mines before. But huge invention. Next up, we've got Charge and Slam. This is literally just like running. I mean, I guess you could say it lets you break shit when you run into it, but like why are you doing that though? Like, even in the game, if you're running at people with guns, you're gonna die. It's completely impractical. Like, it just involves you dying. Like, this might be and literally kills you. If you're ever in a use case where you need Charge and Slam to break through things, the second you get to the other side, you're going to be like absolutely beamed and shot upon. So like that's just not gonna work. It literally kills you pretty much. If you ever have a use case scenario for it, it's useless, and then the one time you would ever have a use for it, it kills you. So yeah, no, we're not doing that. Next up, dematerializer. Yeah, dematerializer is broken. You can literally just evaporate any form of defense. You can evaporate a tank rolling at you. You can evaporate any barricades that the enemies put up. You can just, it's like data reshaper, but for the, like, instead of just grenades, instead of just, you know, tanks, you can literally do it to buildings. This thing is crazy. I would say not quite as good as, you know, Dark Necromancy, but yeah, no, this is winning the war. Again, it probably teeters on the edge of violating some Geneva Conventions, being able to just erase things from existence. But, you know, that's kind of lame to, like, put everything in Geneva Convention violations, so we're just going to leave it there. Goo Grenade. Okay, this is an interesting one. Because, again, nothing like this really exists, where you can just toss a little grenade and it puts a fully deployable cover out for you. I feel like this is niche, but it could be useful. Because imagine you're getting put, like, you can just think of this in context of the game. Imagine you're sitting around a campfire with your boys, you know, enjoying some Osboos, per se, and somebody's put, like, this whole team of, you know, the Germans are pushing you with their AKs, and you're like, hold on, boys, let me deploy my goo grenade, and that stops a couple, like, quite a few of their bullets, really. The reason it's not as good as Dome or Mesh is because you can't shoot through it, obviously. But, I mean, that's pretty good. Like, it's pretty fast. And you might be saying by that logic, oh, well, you could put up a barricade in front of you instantly with a little tablet it gives you in the game. First of all, shut up. Second of all, you can't throw that, so you literally only goes up right in front of you, and that's stupid. Goo Grenade, you can cover distance. You can also throw it at somebody to, you know, goo them up a bit. So I feel like, again, niche, but could be useful. Could be useful. Gravity Vortex. This is pretty much the exact same thing as Grav Cube. You throw it at something, and then it sucks them up, and you're anti-gravitied for a little bit. Although I think this one would be slightly more useful, because if you could toss that into, you know, a trench where a bunch of people were hiding, and then activate it to where they're all like sucked up, and then throw a grenade, boy, you're getting a team wipe right there. And yeah, okay, next up we've got Heal Ball. This is an intriguing one. So Heal Ball, and where is Heal Gun? Heal Gun and Heal Ball, well, we're just going to put them in the same spot. These are excellent, absolute revolutionary invention. Because, like I said earlier, when you defib somebody, they're on half health. And if we're taking it by the logic of the game, that means if they stand next to a heal ball for a little bit, they're going to be healed right up. Like, all injuries are just, like, if you're not technically dead, if your life has not passed on, then you literally stand next to this thing for a little while, and you're fully healed after, like, 5 seconds. You're just back at it again. This, like, no, screw it. We're going up higher. This, in combination with a defib, or just in general in combination with injured soldiers, there would be no medic. Like, your country would win instantly, because you wouldn't need a medical institution anymore. You wouldn't need to pull troops out of combat to get their injuries fixed. No, you just set them down next to a heal ball and ship them right back in. They're all good to go. Like, this, absolutely insane. Like, there's no questions asked. Heal Gun is getting the same exact thing. It's the same thing. It heals you and gets rid of all of your injuries. Jump pad. This is an intriguing one. It literally fucking kills you, because unlike in the finals, in real life, there is this thing called fall damage. If you touch that, you are launched into the stratosphere, and you will break literally every bone in your body upon landing. Like, there's, like, seriously, what? Like, this is one of the ones that, this jump pad was the reason I made this tier in the first place. I expected it to be the only one here. But yeah, no, jump pad, if you touch it, you die. Dash. Now, this is a cool one. This would, see, if Dash existed in World War I think I might actually want to watch a World War I documentary. That would be sick as hell. Can you imagine like the clips that would have been recorded? This thing would have been awesome. Again, I don't think it's incredibly useful. I think obviously being able to like dash out of the way of bullets like once or twice would be useful, but at the end of the day, people are still gunning you down. You know, it's just not quite the same. And although in guerrilla warfare where you're ambushing people, this would be nice. This would be pretty epic. So I'd say very niche, but could be useful. Next up, we've got lock bolts. So this is one that's a little bit similar to the vortex, except it activates instantly instead of you having to wait 3 seconds after you throw it. So again, you toss it into an enemy encampment or a trench that they're staying in, right? And it lock bolts them so they can't move. This one is also a bit more useful because you could throw it, you could launch it at a tank, and the tank wouldn't be able to move. It would be locked in place for a little bit. The more I think about it, this could be a staple. Lockbolt would actually be really powerful. Now we've got the proximity sensor. I mean, this is pretty self-explanatory. You place it down and it lets you see through walls or something when there's an enemy nearby. Now, I don't know exactly what you're seeing when you can see through walls. I don't know if it gives you a red outline. I don't know if it shows them butt-ass naked, but we're not going to bother. We're not going to dabble in the Jiva conventions it may violate. We're just going to put this in a revolutionary invention, because if you're spotting people across the map with you know, something like this and you always know where they are, that's pretty insane. That's pretty revolutionary. I'm not going to lie. So next up, we've got cloak. Cloak's an interesting one. Yeah, this is revolutionary. If all of your troops had cloak, the enemy can't shoot what they can't see. If you and all your troops have cloak, you can ambush people. You can move out of trenches without being seen. There's just no chance, dude. Like, you know what? No, this is going in single-handedly wins. Or like, cloak is broken. Next up, we've got the nullifier. This violates Geneva Conventions for several reasons, but I'll let ChatGPT do the explaining. It turns out I was wrong. Okay, originally I was going to put the dematerializer, or whatever the fuck you call this thing, nullifier, and violates Geneva Conventions, because I thought, you know, turning someone into dust for 5 seconds actually violates Geneva Conventions. But according to ChatGPT, it doesn't. So, like, if you turn them into a ghost-like state where they cannot interact with the world, and as long as it doesn't cause them pain, psychological trauma, it's actually not a violation of the Geneva Convention. So, yeah, this is just going in a revolutionary invention, I'd say. Next up, we've got grappling hook. This is an interesting one. Stuff like this would just, like, if stuff like this existed, World War I wouldn't have happened how it happened. But in the context of if you just gave somebody the grappling hook while World War I is going on, it's not going to help them. It's the same way with stuff like dash, or because yeah, I mean, what are you going to do? Like grapple on over to the enemies and then like instantly die? Actually, you know what? I actually do think this is completely impractical, because that's what a lot of my light teammates in game actually do, is grapple into a team and instantly get clipped. So yeah, next up we've got pyro grenade. This is basically a Molotov cocktail. Okay, so Molotov cocktails apparently, and like incendiary grenades like this, did exist, but they were never used because trench warfare was either in open fields, where, as you can see in the finals, is when you try to throw somebody, like one of these directly at somebody, it doesn't do shit besides, you know, 5 damage, and then it kills one of your teammates. As far as being an anti-tank measure or throwing it into trenches, a lot of the times it was muddy and wet, and these things would not light anyways. So even assuming that they could fully function like they do in the finals and instantly light anything it lands on, it's really not going to be that useful because of how open or how wet the environment of battle was. So already existed and also not useful. Next up, we've got the pyro mine. So honestly, this really isn't in reality much different from an explosive mine. They both blow up, and this one lights on fire. I'm pretty sure an explosion already kind of lights you on fire. RPG. Now, this is a big one. RPGs did not exist in World War I. I did my research. Trust me, it took me about 5 seconds asking on this tab. So, yeah, RPGs did not exist, but if they did, they would be revolutionary. They would have completely ended the reign of terror that the British tanks had. These would have been revolutionary. Yeah, I would say not quite on the level as all these. That's why it's behind it. But you fire one of these at a tank, it's gone. But yeah, the RPG is quite a powerful tool. This thing's gonna wreak some havoc, especially against tanks. So very, very powerful tool here. Next up, we've got Winch Claw, the most stupid specialization in the entire game. Winch Claw is it kills you. Let's be honest. If you are winching an opponent, even if somehow, some way, you get into a situation where it is a 1 versus 1 scenario, what do you think is going to happen if you essentially use a lasso to pull someone towards you who is armed as they would be in war? If you need a hint, they're going to fucking shoot you. So yeah, this literally kills you if you winch somebody. Even assuming that you could like somehow lasso somebody, pull them in, and get a shot off first, we can see in the game that that typically doesn't happen. If you're both 1 health and you winch somebody, you're probably gonna die. So yeah, no, Winch Claw is either completely, utterly impractical because there's no reason to ever use it when you could just shoot somebody with your gun, and it takes time to pull it out and winch somebody rather than shooting them with your gun. Or it literally just kills you by pulling a fully armed soldier into you. Next up, we've got smoke grenades. I need to do some quick research real quick. All right, smoke grenades are actually pretty simple now that I've looked into it a bit in my extensive research that involves, again, this tab. So smoke grenades were used to escort troops and block their vision. Of course, this would be completely useless if they had cloaks, but they were used, although they were, I quote, primitive versions. Thank you, ChatGPT. So they already existed, but they were used at the very least, unlike Molotov cocktails and incendiary grenades. But now we bring up a big one. So thermal vision, first of all, night raids, night ops, would have been the staple. Yeah, this is huge. This is a huge invention. Being able to see thermal movements would also have completely annihilated the whole guerrilla warfare tactic that was used towards the end of World War One. Yeah, thermal vision also would have been useful in seeing the troops that were hidden in trenches, hidden in trees, hidden in the tunnels. Like this is a huge invention because staying hidden was a huge part of World War One. So this is a very, very revolutionary invention. I'd say up there with dematerializer. Next up, we got sonar grenade. This is a odd one.
I don't know what's going on with you.
So this would have completely changed the game as well. Next up, we've got I don't even know the difference between these two. I know one of them's tracking dart, one of them's thermal bore. Let's call this one tracking dart. So it's a little bit like these two, except like it is in the game, it's a really shitty version of those two because sure, it can track somebody for longer, but you have to shoot somebody with it. And if you're gonna shoot somebody with it, might as well shoot somebody with a fucking gun that literally instantly kills them if one bullet lands in the right place. So this is completely impractical. There's no reason you would ever use a tracking dart. You could just use a gun that fires bullets and kills people. Next up, we're gonna do thermal bore. This is actually, I feel like, a lot more useful version of the C4 because like C4, it can blow up barricades that are protecting people and just open up tunnels, stuff like that. And as it's not as powerful as an explosive, it can be fired from a gun, and that means it can be fired from a lot longer ranges. You don't have to get so close and endanger yourself, and it opens up, a hole that you can fire through, but doesn't let everybody come pouring out and escape. So I would say staple in combat and above C4. Last but not least, we've got Vanish Bomb. Vanish Bomb is, again, really broken light cloak. Thing is, of course, it doesn't last very long. If we have to take into account how fast-paced the finals is for a lot of these gadgets, so obviously this doesn't last very long at all. It's plenty of time in the finals, being 8 seconds or something max, but 8 seconds to move an entire group of troops, let's say it's using at maximum efficiency, and that is to camouflage everyone to move at one time. It could be useful in maybe one situation. Or if everybody had a Vanish Bomb and you cycled cooldowns, well then that would be great. Because all they'd have to go off of is the occasional sound cue of where everybody is. But again, it's not like a cloak where you can stay hidden for a lot longer time and become completely invisible if you stand still. So I would say could be a staple. No, I'd say it's revolutionary. Let's be so for real. You turn fucking invisible. Yeah, that about completes the list. I think this is as good as it's gonna get. I fully believe that somewhere in here I probably missed a Geneva Convention violating gadget. So if y'all have any ideas of which one that is, let me know in the comments. But yeah, that about wraps it up. So I appreciate y'all for watching. So thank you very much. Goodbye.